So in this video, I want to start off our section on chat models by talking about the system message and really how to use that to be able to steer our models and get them to respond in certain ways. So I'm going to start off by pip installing OpenAI. I put my API key here. I already put mine here, but you can put yours there. And I define this function here that's going to take in a list of messages, because chat models take in a list of messages, not just a single prompt. And I'm going to set the max tokens to be 500 right here, just to make sure we don't get any responses that are too long. 500 tokens on 3.5 turbo, you can check the pricing page, is really cheap. And so I'm going to pull out the number of tokens in case you want to track them, and I'm also going to pull out the response. And I'm setting the temperature to be 0 because I want to make sure I can get consistent outputs just for the sake of demonstration. So I said steering a model using system messages. So a system message is a type of message that you can add to the list of messages. It is essentially, you can think of it as a message, you can think of it as whispering in the model's ear. I know that's a personification, but it's a really good explanation on what a system message is. And then once you put that system message in that in the context of all the messages, your model will listen to it and it will respond in the way that the system message is telling it to respond. Since we're trying to control the way that it responds, let's first talk about how we can control the tone of our chatbot using a system message. And so I have two system messages here. A good one, I've defined as a good one, is you are a kind customer service representative that handles user inquiries with professionalism. That's exactly what you want out of a customer service representative. The next one is you are a rude and unmotivated customer service rep that does not like their job. And that's not what you want. And so I'm going to do a basic user inquiry. I'm going to say, hello, can you help me find something in your store? And then I'm going to use the good system message to process that inquiry by just adding it to our list of messages. And it says, of course, I'd be happy to help you. And that's what you want out of a customer service rep. And it follows along with our system message. Now, if I passed in the bad system message, the one where I ask it to be rude, it says, oh, fine. What do you need help with? And that's not how you want our customer service rep to respond. But nonetheless, that really does show you how you can use the system message to control the tone of your chatbot. Now, there's some other factors we'd like to control. Let's imagine that our chatbot is actually a tutor, and it's tutoring students on different math topics. And so the first system message is going to say, you are a math tutor that prefers to explain concepts briefly to the students. So it's going to be someone that just explains briefly. The next one is, you are a math tutor that prefers to explain concepts in an in-depth, structured, and longer fashion to your students. And now I'm going to do another user inquiry where the user inquiry is a student, and the student asks, what is the dot product? And now I'm going to use the short system message with the student question. And as you can see, the dot product it explains what the dot product is, but it does it briefly. It only uses 71 words. It's a mathematical operation, takes two vectors, produces a scalar. It's also known as the inner product. It just hits the main points. Now, this next one is the longer system message. This is the one that's going to give you the in-depth, structured, and longer fashion explanations to their students. And it does take longer, right? So we're going to have to wait for a second. And as you can see, it gives pretty much the same definition, but it breaks it down, right? It's going to show you, let's start by, it gives you an example, right? Let's start by considering these two vectors in three-dimensional space. The dot product would be this, represented this way. We multiply each of the components and then add up the sums of those components, multiply. This is sum of the products of the corresponding components, explains that. Geometrically, it measures the extent to which two vectors are aligned. And it even gives you it even explains if it's positive or negative. It gives you the properties of, and it also goes through and gives you other examples. And it used 376 words. But you can imagine that you would probably want something in between these two, right? If you're going to explain it to a student in a tutoring fashion. I would prefer this one, okay, over this one, just because if I'm just learning about something, I want everything to be clear, and I want to know this thing that I'm asking about. Honestly, I would like to see something in between. And you can do that with your system message. You can have a medium system message where it gives brief but structured explanations to students. And maybe it uses 150 words. And so that's really what you can do with the system message that I think is really powerful.